let's take a look at, let's move on over to and see what that shows us. Let's spread this out a little bit here. All right, so this was our big move this morning right here. We're talking about this. So we had this move right here, and then we had this down here. All right, you see cycle oscillator was right here, and that traded all the way down here, right here, blue to yellow, RSI cross right here at this level, moving average cross. This is the 3 crossing over the 5, and right here, that's where we got it. You could have taken that trade right at the open of this candle here, the red candle. If you're aggressive, you could have waited for a pullback. There's your pullback on this candle. You had green candle, so you could wait on that. But this is the bottom of the opening 15-minute range right here, this dashed yellow line. So it came down, hit that level, then it kind of pierced it just a little bit. The Bollingers are flaring to the downside, so you got a good indication that it's going to continue to the downside. But we're getting some buying action right here. So we're getting some buying action with these green candles. See, there's a green candle right there, and there's another green candle right there. These two little pullback candles here. So it stayed within here, and then we got this red candle here. That's the one right there. And then when it took this out, you could have, when it broke through that level, that would have been like your elegant entry, kind of like right in there when it broke this 15-minute opening range to the downside. You could have taken that. That would have been like taking probably the 90, 85s, and then you would have converted that on down probably around in this area right here. But so you're going from blue to yellow right here. Stochastic rolled over, and we went from positive Momo to negative Momo right here. And so you got all that confluence going on here. And then it kept on moving down right here. Started losing a little bit of steam right here when we went from bright red to dark red bars right here. But remember, even when you get a loss in momentum on the downside, and likewise on the buying side, the green here right here, if you got green bars, that's still positive momentum. It just means that it's not as strong as it was. Like this right here, you got the bars are getting taller, or they're getting longer and longer and longer until they don't. They kind of level out like right here, and then it starts fading a little bit, start getting a little shorter, and it moves up, and then they come back down a little bit, and then they get shorter and shorter and shorter, and then they finally hit the 0 line, and then they go positive. But not a lot. This is another clue right here. This is strong downward momentum right here. This is strong price action. And even though this moved up, and there was a move right here. That was, like I said, that was the move that I took right in there. That wasn't a real strong move, but it was a move, and it was a setup right here. But there was a level right here, and that was what I was looking at. It's like, okay, I can just get in right here and take it to that level and then expect to move, and it hit that. It started fizzling, fading and dying. So that was when I took my profit. That was what I was looking for right there. Wasn't, this could have turned into an extended move. You don't know that because it was turning to blue. We did have some green dots here, but they really kind of faded. RSI did not break the 50 right here. We never got that cross. We never got that cross right. It got close to it, and then it started fading again. That's where it fizzled right here. And you see it kind of died right here when we got this cross. And that was kind of like, that was it. So, and then this started fading again. So even though it kind of hung around right here and just flatlined, you could see that the dynamics and the strength of that move were not really continuing. So let's move on down here. Let's see. And then we get through lunch right here. This is the lunch box. This is the out of lunch move. This is what I was talking about earlier, I think. When we hit this one, I did not. I was on phone trade station going through all this. See RSI cross. Moving average cross right here, and look, price crosses the 20. So we went from negative tone right here in lunch to positive tone right here, but we broke the 20. And usually that's kind of a key right there, especially when you get a green candle, pauses a little bit, you get a red candle, a little pullback here, and then you get another green candle that takes out this red and it continues on up. So there's another move right there. And that could have been your entry right there when you got that pullback and you took out the red right there. That would have probably been, let's see, what would that have been at that level right there? That would have been probably the 40, 45s to the upside. You're taking that. Take it a little bit early. Well, no, that's still 36. So you still, unless you were like really aggressive and went in the money there, you're taking the 35, 40s, which you could do. They've been more expensive, but the 40, 45s would have been the one to take right there. And then you would have converted, probably 40, 45. You'd have probably converted around here somewhere, right around when it got to 45 up here, maybe 47. Right in this range is probably where you would have converted. But same thing right here. You see we had you had your RSI cross, you had the moving average cross right here, the 3 over the 5, price above the 5 right there. And actually price got above the 20, crossed over. So, I would have been looking at this saying, well, I want to see it get over the 20 when we got this moving average cross. So you came down right here there was your reversal candle right here. Right there. That is the reversal candle. And it came up, but it pulled back. You got confirmation, but it didn't follow through. You hadn't broken through, really. So you kind of held on there. Then you got this continuation. That was the break there. I mean, you could have taken that if you were really aggressive. I probably would not have because we got this previous swing range right in there. So I would have wanted to see a little bit something else. Want to see that moving average cross right there. Got the RSI, going through, making sure you got a good setup right here. Mobile starting to move up. Stochastic moving up. Yellow to blue. All that really kind of lines up whenever you get this big rocket candle. Now that's scary right there because it's like, ooh, I got to get this, otherwise I'm going to miss it. But just wait, and then I'll do this a lot of times. I'll wait and I'll look and see what the next candle is going to do because a lot of times that next candle will pull back and then sometimes it'll fall and fail. And if it does that, I'll let it do what it's going to do. And if it fails, then that wasn't a move to the upside. But if it holds and it starts to move back up, then that's the best place. That's your elegant entry to get in right there and then continue to the upside. Ken, you got 20 on your 20, you got crosses on it. I think Michael's got either VWAP or he's got the 20s crossed. I don't have any crosses on mine like that. I just go by the colors. And I think you guys know me, I really key off of these moving averages. I really don't pay a lot of attention. I mean, I watch it and look, but I'm not really ready to take a move until I see that cross, the moving average cross to the upside or to the downside. And that's when I really, get serious about taking, jumping into a trade because usually you don't have the complete setup until you start seeing that moving average cross. And then sometimes, you get the moving average cross, it may take, another candle or two. Sometimes it'll just go and you can jump on that. But sometimes like this, you can look for that pullback. Michael talks about this. This is the pullback entry right here. You get moving average cross. It comes back right here, pulls back, and then it takes off. And then you take that entry right there and get up. You can change, Ken. You can change the size of your crosses on your setup. So if you wanted to say, like, if I wanted to change that, but you can go to, so if I wanted to change my 20 right here, if I wanted to change that to edit, that's a Bollinger Band. I don't want to do that with the Bollinger Band. Say like if I did my hull right here, if I do that white line, if I'm gonna edit that, say style, it's set as this. You can change it. You got to set it for your crosses. You can change it to crosses, but you can change so you can make a big fat crosses like that. See, big fat crosses, or you can go back and you can make it smaller. You can make it little crosses like that. See, you can do it that way. If they're too big, you can just play around with it. that. Give me that edit because I want to go back to the line. And I don't remember how big. I think that was what I had right there, probably. So yeah, you can play it. They're pretty though. Well, you got to decide what's more important to you. You want it pretty, or do you want it practical? Pretty or do you want it pretty practical? I don't know. You can figure it. That's a tough one, Ken.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.